What's up, guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to install the brass steering knuckles for the TRX4M. So let's take a look at these brass steering knuckles. Brass steering knuckles are great because it's nice and heavy, non-rotational mass right around the front of the wheels, right where you want it. So this is a great upgrade, great for performance, and one of the first mods that I always like to do on my rigs. So these are brass with this nice black brass coating. These are 13 grams a piece, so you're going to add 26 grams of weight right above your wheels, right where you want it. This is an easy installation, direct replacement for the factory knuckles. Let's get to it. For the knuckles here, tools you're going to need is your 1.5 millimeter hex driver. We're going to start by taking the wheels off the front. So for the Traxxas, we're going to take the entire body off. We'll remove the wheels so we can get to the knuckles. Okay, now we are ready. So we're going to start by taking our steering linkage off. I don't take it off completely. I'm just going to disconnect it from each ends of the axle here. With the knuckles disconnected from the steering link, we're just going to undo these bolts here on the bottom. We're going to flip it back over. Now all that's left is the bolt that's on the top of the C-hub here. So with those two bolts, your knuckle should pull right out. Now, one thing I would recommend, and you can see I've already done this on mine, is I've swapped out the bushings for bearings. I've used the Little Guy Racing Parts high-speed bearing kit to replace the bushings that come stock in the TRX4M. So if you've not done that, this is a good time to do it, and it's a good upgrade to do. And work your way through as you're replacing things like I did, and just pop these bearings in as you go. So we are going to reuse these bearings because the new knuckles do not come with hardware or bushings or bearings. So we're going to reuse all of our hardware and the bearings that we have in here. So I'm going to pop these out. Bushings would come out the same way. You just gently push them out. And there is your stripped stock steering knuckle. Now, as far as the direction of your knuckles go, these are directional. And the way that you tell with the Traxxas is that the thicker part of the mount here goes on the top. Because when you thread the bolt in through the bottom, this is what you thread into. So you make sure when you're assembling your knuckles that this goes on the top part. So I can see the way that this is situated, that this is the passenger side knuckle because the mounting points are facing forward, and I've got the larger section on the top. So this is our passenger side. That's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to set the other one over there. I'm going to reassemble my hardware. I'm going to put my bearings in. Again, bushings would go in the exact same way. It's a very nice fit. So we're good to go. Now I'm going to slide my axle inside the steering knuckle here. One thing to be mindful of on the Traxxas, since it does use the CV style axles, you want to make sure that this pin, if you can see that pin at the top, make sure that's nice and flush. Otherwise it won't seat correctly inside the bearing. So you want to make sure you get it through there. Yeah, see, they get it nice and flush. If that pin is sticking out, it won't compress all the way. And it'll give you fitment issues. So now we're good. I'm just going to slide the axle shaft back in the housing. Make sure we're lined up. I'm going to grab my hardware and put the top one in right here. Now again, be very careful not to over tighten this. I'm just going to seat it delicately right now, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. You don't want to over tighten your knuckles because that can really wreak havoc on your servo. Now that I have both bolts in, I can kind of start to tighten this down. I'm going to have nice, easy movement in there. Very little effort whatsoever to move that knuckle. You don't want any extra strain on your servo. So we're good. Now we'll do the other side here. Same process. Now with my knuckles attached, we're pretty much good to go. I'm going to reassemble my steering linkage. And there you have it. Brass steering knuckles on your TRX4M, a great addition to the build.